All right, winter is just around the corner, so today we're going to dive into a super simple checklist that could save you from the cold, the snow, and, let's be real, some seriously expensive surprises. Let's get right into it.
So let's just start with the big question. We all know winter doesn't exactly play nice, right? Freezing temps, snow, ice, our homes really take a beating every single year. So the question you've got to ask yourself is, are you actually ready for what's coming? Because, being unprepared isn't just uncomfortable, it's expensive. We are talking thousands of dollars in potential damages. And it's always the small stuff that gets you. A tiny crack here, a little draft there. Those things can blow up into burst pipes, major water leaks, and heating bills that'll just make your jaw drop.
Okay, so mission number 1 is to beef up your home's defenses. I want you to think of your house like a fortress. Our first move is to seal up its armor, making a solid barrier that keeps winter where it belongs, outside.
And what's the most critical piece of that armor? It's this stuff right here, caulking. It's not just there for looks. It is literally the seal that stands between a warm, cozy home and a drafty, inefficient one. See, when it gets cold, old caulk can shrink and crack, creating these tiny little highways for cold air and water to sneak right inside.
So where do you even look for these leaks? This is what's so great about this. For your windows and doors, it's super simple. Just use your hand. Can you feel a draft? See any condensation? Time to recaulk and maybe add some weather stripping. And what about that cold floor mystery? We have random cold spots. Yeah, you've probably got air leaks in your baseboards that need sealing. And in places like your bathroom and kitchen, if you see peeling paint or any hint of mold, that is a huge red flag. It means old silicone has failed and you've got to replace it before that moisture freezes and causes some real damage.
And hey, if you need a little more motivation, check this out. A tiny gap under just one door, something you might not even notice, can let in enough cold air to spike your heating bill by 10 to 15%. That is a ton of wasted money over a whole winter for something that's so simple to fix.
Okay, so we've sealed up all the obvious gaps. But what about the silent destroyer, water? Once we've handled the air, we have got to get control of the water, because when it freezes, its destructive power is just immense. In fact, it's the #1 cause of winter's most expensive home emergencies. And this quote right here just says it all. A tiny drip that seems like no big deal in October can become a massive, destructive problem once the temperature drops below freezing and that water expands into ice. It happens fast.
So the key here is all about prevention, and here are 3 simple, non-negotiable steps to avoid the nightmare of frozen pipes. First, get some insulation on any pipes you can see in unheated spots like your basement or crawl space. Second, and this is a big one, disconnect your garden hoses and make sure you shut off the water to those outside faucets. And third, on those really frigid nights, just open up the cabinet doors under your sinks. It sounds simple, but it lets the warm air from your house circulate around the pipes and can make all the difference.
Now, pipes are the main event, but here are the other sneaky places water can hide and cause chaos. Clogged gutters? They're basically a recipe for an ice dam, which is when melting snow backs up under your roof and starts leaking into your attic. No good. While you're at it, look for missing shingles, trim any tree branches hanging over the house, and please make sure your vents are clear so moisture has a way to escape instead of getting trapped inside.
Okay, the house is sealed, the water is under control. But all of that work is to keep us warm and safe inside, right? So now we need to turn our focus inward for what is maybe the most important check of all: indoor safety.
Seriously, as our windows stay shut tight and our heaters are running around the clock, indoor air safety becomes absolutely critical. This isn't just about being comfortable. This is about protecting your family.
Think of this as your 2-minute safety drill. It is so fast and easy, there's really no excuse not to do it. Go around your house and test every single smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector. And don't just test them, replace the batteries. It's the perfect time. And finally, if you have a gas furnace or fireplace, just give it a quick look to make sure it's venting properly. You do not want dangerous CO building up inside.
So, after all these checks and little fixes, what's the end game? Well, it's not just about having a prepared house. It's about having peace of mind. Let's talk about the real payoff for doing all this prep work. When you lay it all out like this, the choice is pretty clear, isn't it? On one hand, you can spend a few hours getting things ready now. On the other, you're kind of gambling on a winter filled with expensive surprises, wasted energy, and crazy high bills. That small investment of time today leads directly to a warm, safe, and most importantly, stress-free winter.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought.
Looking at everything we just covered, what is the one single step you can actually commit to doing this week to protect your home? Maybe it's checking your caulk, or cleaning the gutters, or just doing that 2-minute detector drill. Just taking that first step, that's all it takes to get started.